Hello everyone, my name is Abdul Karim and I am from the first trimester of Information and Cybersecurity Department at ITU. I recently attended this event talking security, Black Phoenix, malware analysis and automation framework. I attended this event as part of my internship, professional development and networking event. So let's move on to our presentation and learn more about the event. So this event was organized on December the 5th, 2019. This took place at Fortinet headquarters in Sunnyvale. And this technical event was hosted by two employees of Fortinet. Fortinet is a cybersecurity software and appliance services company. And the hosts of this event were Oz Topgul, who is working as Principal Application Security Engineer at Fortinet, and Chris Nav, who is working as Security Researcher in FortiGuard Labs Division at Fortinet. This event is, uh, let's move on to the next slide and take a brief look of how the event was looking. It was organized for pretty large audience of about 100 people around. And let's move to the innovation part. What was the main agenda of this event? In this picture, you can see Oz hosting the event. It's a Silicon Valley based cybersecurity meetup, which, which they organize every quarter and so forth. So, this event is related to professionals who work in malware analysis and research field, research on the malware, professionals who work on identifying signature and behavior of sophisticated malware and who develop techniques to mitigate those threats to secure the systems. So, what does this framework, which was created by Chris, do? So, this framework, which is called as Black Phoenix, provides a sandboxed environment to securely analyze malware behavior and research on its signature so that the malware can be detected and it can be prevented from corrupting the systems. As I said, this sandbox provides a controlled environment where behavior can be monitored and studied. If at all the sandbox was not used, then we would have to wait for the malware to actually corrupt the systems and then identify the behavior, which would have been very expensive. And the creator of the software, the framework, Chris, built it in such a way that it can be used out of the box with used through simple configurations to meet our custom demands, and this fits our project needs. We don't have to build something like this. We don't have to spend resources. We don't have to invest a lot of money in this. Moving on to the next pictures. Here is Chris uh, presenting about his product, why he developed it, and then he's giving some overall idea about the components of the architecture, and then he's also showing what are the most recent malware that he was working on research that he was researching to identify their behavior. So you can see in this as you can see in this screen, there are a bunch of malware that he was working on. And who was the audience were mostly from the cybersecurity field, who want to know the recent trends and latest research. Majority of the audience was ethical hackers, penetration testers, and some of them had business related backgrounds. They were more focused on knowing how this tool can be commercialized. Maybe they wanted to collaborate with Grace or Fortinet and get the licenses, bring it to their own company, and monetize it. Uh, but Chris was not mainly interested in monetizing it. He wanted to have it open source so that more people can contribute to its development and contribute to its growth. That's what his strategy was. But if at all his employer, which was who is Fortinet, if it's willing to commercialize this framework, then he was all open to it. It's obvious that his employer has more to say there. And the collaboration. So, as I mentioned, Chris, one more motivation behind organizing this event was to identify candidates whom he could hire for researching and growing this product further. That was one of his motivation, and one of the audience expectation was how can I acquire the framework and monetize it. So that was one point where there was a lot of discussion on how it can be monetized and how it can be commercialized. There were there was discussion about how, if I as a user adapt this framework in my own company, how could I save the valuable resources, save time, because most of the time, save time in the sense by not reinventing the wheel, by making use of the tools that are already available, that are already proven, which can be used right off the shelf through minimum configurations. One point I wanted to mention in the audience section was whether the audience would come back again to events of this type. From my experience, when I was interacting to them, they were very passionate about this field. They want to know everything that is latest, everything that is trending. So they would definitely love to come back to such kind of events. And they most of them already were very much familiar with Osgun, the host, and Chris, who was the presenter. How was my experience? I had a pretty good experience. To be honest, this was one of the first cybersecurity related events that I have attended. And to be honest, I have attended a lot of technical events, but nothing nothing as good as this one, because I had the opportunity to directly interact with the creators of the framework and understand their vision. And I also got the opportunity to express myself out and seek some mentorship from established people in this field. Everybody was relaxed, everybody was very helpful, and they were interested in guiding. Everybody was open. There wasn't much of a hype that could scare somebody like a new grad or a new person in the field. How can I improve in the future? Maybe uh, before going to events of such, I can do some more research on the tools and technologies that are being used, so that I can better prepare for better prepare myself to ask the right kind of questions, because these kind of opportunities are very rare to find. If I find them, then having some background preparation would help me make full use of it. That's it. Thank you.